You would be very disappointed in me last night. I the diet's been good, mother. Diet's been good. But yesterday,
What?
we
What?
had a funnel cake truck come. So
Oh, Chris.
Brooke and I, we
Oh,
said,
come
Brooke was
on.
like, okay, we could give it a try. So, because Justin was working. So we go over, Ma, you would be very disappointed because it wasn't just funnel cake.
Oh,
Mother, it
Chris.
was Oreo stuffed funnel cake.
Oh,
Then we
come
had to get
on.
the deep fried Oreos appetizer
Oh
and
my
the deep fried Snickers bar. It
Chris.
wasn't one of my finer moments, mother. It
No.
was a lot.
I'm surprised you don't still have the chocolate on your face.
Well, let me tell you, going to bed, I woke up like midway through the night. I was like, oh, I feel kind of sick. Like it was a lot of carbohydrates and sugar. But now I'm doing my 36-hour fast, so I won't be eating until I'm at
Oh,
Sue's tomorrow.
great. That's
It's
healthy.
called. Actually, I saw a whole little scientific thing on like what 36 hours of fasting does to your body. It's really beneficial, but anything past that, it's like there's really no point. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm shooting for. I feel good, but tomorrow with Aunt Sue is when I'll eat again.
Yeah. Well,
When I'll eat again.
don't overdo it then, even though you've been fasting.
Yeah. But what's funny is my weight hasn't really changed much. So
Oh, and your
let's
skin,
just
you're
say I
still
got
as
the.
white as the snow.
Let's just
You're as
say.
white as the snow.
Yeah, I know. I said to Brooke yesterday, I was like, I have to get some kind of a tan at some point. I
Yeah.
don't know what to
Or
do.
stop wearing the tank shirts because it's throwing off a glare.
Thanks, Ma. Thanks. So the reason we did the podcast with Uncle Jerry last week was because you were in Miami with my brothers. And how did
Yes.
that go? As you stated before we started, puppies everywhere, sweaters everywhere, dogs with
Great.
sweaters.
Yeah, it was busy. Got a lot done, but still managed to have, as I said, I was glad I had the extra day. I usually go, fly down, stay a day, and then fly back the next day. This time I built in a second day because I learned the first time all the projects you start that one day, you're always missing parts, pieces, and you have to go out to the store again. So it worked out nicely. I got to meet one of Kenny's friends and help Mike organize himself a little bit better, I
On a
hope.
scale of 1 to 10, how was the apartment in cleanliness when you walked in?
It's not dirty.
Just
It's
crap
just
everywhere?
they're more comfortable. Well, it's better than it's been, but to me it's frustrating because they're so close to having a big boy apartment, but Kenny's got to keep it a frat. It's like certain stuff's out. Like, what? Could you just put that stuff away? Why do you have it out?
Yeah.
So he was going to come up with and I know his intentions were good. This whole contraption to put on Michael's bed, so it becomes a desk.
Right.
But the more we talked about it, I'm like, Kenny, that's gonna look like crap.
Well,
No matter how hard you try.
Mike showed me the desk set up with the monitors. That was smart.
Yeah.
That was very
Yeah.
smart to do.
Yeah, I thought it was a good idea, and he could roll it right out in front of the bed. He says it's working fine so far, but that was my only concern. If it's not practical, then it's not worth having. So anyhow, things like that. He's got scarves on the wall from soccer. Like, it's not a frat house; it's an apartment.
Right.
Okay, it's bad enough. At least he's got that jersey in a case. The 0 Day Sober is it in that nice frame.
Oh, yeah. Even though
All
he's
the other
worn that
stuff I
out
gotta.
more times than not.
Yeah.
So what's the point of
The
putting it
open
in the,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't look bad. It's just, and then he's got all these little figurines out and stuff. So we tried to find some stuff to put his things away and Mike's too. Mike doesn't really have very much out from what I could see. But the few things he had, he was keeping on the kitchen island. So no matter what we did, the island was always full of stuff because we were constantly doing projects. What Ken did do, which was good, he made screens for the cat, right?
Oh, to go
So
outside?
he has the opposite. So she can't go out and bring the air in because it's for them. It's cool down there, and he's on the 30th floor, so he
It's
gets some nice
freezing
breezes.
here.
Yeah, I heard.
19-degree mornings.
That was one. I know it's like what we have here. He ran out. We went to Home Depot, got the boards. They cut them. He bought screening. He stapled it, and it's nice because he has the oversized doors, so it takes up the whole door, and you can open it. And it freaked Kitty out. Like she couldn't
Missy
figure
didn't
out
like
how
it.
am I getting past this. No, she didn't like it. Well, she didn't mind it because it's like smells and everything. She's feeling the breeze. She's not used to that, and she can't figure out how she can get outside. But
Well,
anyhow,
as I was saying, it's freezing here, and Uncle wanted to play golf the other day, and I had to put my foot down after we played golf. I said, Uncle, unless it's 70 degrees or above, don't even bother asking me anymore.
Right.
Because I hit.
It's so fun.
I don't know how I hit how I did it, but I first off, I wasn't playing very well because I couldn't feel my fingers. I wore my gloves too, but with the gloves on, it was too hard to hit anything. So I took the glove off, and I hit it where the shaft meets the driver. So I got the vibration in my hands. I was like, okay, we're not doing this again. That was the wind hit. They're like, oh, the sun comes out and it's warmer. I was like, no, what, a degree? So I think I'm gonna wait till summer to start playing golf again. I'd rather sweat than be cold. At least burn some calories.
I don't blame you. I don't know. That's, to me, there's nothing. I mean, you got to really love that sport to want to play it in the cold, and it's a whole different sport to me when you do that. It's not the same. It's like skiing in the summer. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
That, and with my sweatshirt on, I couldn't fully drive, so I would take my sweatshirt off and be cold, but just to drive and then put it back on. It was like a warm up jersey.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna have to call it a winter on golf.
All right, but then you're gonna have to find some other exercise or something to do.
Exercise? You mean the gym and my walking every night, other night?
Whatever you were doing, something to replace the golf, to get up and get out and do something.
Yeah.
We went to the Y to find Michael's Y down by him in Miami. He was supposed to go this weekend. I have to text him and find out. Did you ever find it? The closest we got was the Y parking lot.
Couldn't get in there?
It's in the bottom of a building, we think. So we took the car. We were going to go to the beach. Maybe I told you this. And we double parked while Mike ran out into the courtyard to find out where the Y was. Came back 5 minutes later, said, well, I found the parking, but couldn't find the entrance to the Y. All right, there's your project for the weekend, Mike.
That is kind of strange.
Walk down there and figure it out.
That is strange how you can see the parking lot, but you can't just see where the Y is. But
it's not really a parking lot. It's the designated parking. Remember, it's a city. There's no parking lot.
Oh, fair point.
You park for the Y. You go up this ramp. You park in there. Yeah. Because I don't really know who's using the. How many people are parking to go to the Y in Miami?
Well, how far is it? In the sense of.
Well, it was a 0.8 mile for him to walk. So it's probably a 20-minute walk from the apartment. It's not bad.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah. For the gym, that's pretty far.
I said that's your warm up before you play.
I guess I don't. I have to think of what a mile is, and I know doing it in a car, it's easy. For us,
a mile is from here to the food store.
Right, but it's easy to say. What I mean is driving it. You go, oh, that's not that long of a distance. But if you were to actually walk that, realistically, that would be that's about walking to Alan's house, Alan's old house from our house.
Could be, but
that's a haul.
City, I know, but when you're in the city, you'd be surprised. It's not a big deal. Everybody walks everywhere. So if you want to go somewhere, you got to do that. And
not to mention getting down the elevator.
Well, the elevator takes a long time.
Yeah.
But he's not going every day. He's just going to do that for basketball.
That's cool. Yeah, that makes sense.
Or whatever else they offer. Maybe he wants to work out there, but right now he's just looking for a place to go play consistently or to have something to do. So, yeah, I wouldn't want to do it every day necessarily unless I was going to work over there. But it's down towards the water, so you just keep heading down towards the shore. Yeah. So we'll see. Who knows if you even went and checked it out? I have no idea.
Yeah, I haven't really ventured out much the last couple of days. It's been too cold to do anything. Too cold to do anything here. So I've just been kind of hanging out.
You can still go out even though it's cold.
The outdoors, the wind.
You got your puffer coat in the closet.
No, yeah, I'm half kidding. I've been doing the walks at night, so I got my own little buddies now at that gym at night.
Is that on the treadmill?
Yeah,
that you're doing it. Yeah,
but the guys are there, so the 11:30 crew, 11:30 p.m.
So have they always been going late at night, and you just never saw them?
I saw them at different times, but now their New Year's resolutions are hitting, and they're like, okay, it's time to get back into it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's a good location to do it. It's not very convenient for you guys.
Yeah, it is.
Not far at all.
It's just
you can't complain.
Check my mail, and I come on back. And then I just go.
It's better in a way. Get you up and out, even though it's just across the courtyard. It's a reason to get up and out, go
Yeah.
to a different space versus having one in your apartment.
What sucks is it's a long enough distance where I'm like, I don't need a sweatshirt and sweatpants. I could just walk out, and then it's super cold. I get there, and then the way back it's nice because you got the breeze. But I don't want to bring a sweatshirt just to get it sweaty for 5 minutes and then bring it back.
Well, you could use that same one for a couple visits. You're just walking over in it, right? Then you take it off?
Yeah, but if I'm sweating and then I put it back on, carrying it, it's disgusting,
Right.
mother.
Anyhow, we plan on going up for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Wow, you are doing a lot of traveling because then you're here the week after that. We're going to have to do a podcast in the apartment, Mom. Our first podcast back.
First one down there.
Yeah.
On Saturday. So
well, we'll shoot it on
down
Sunday.
in the evening.
We'll shoot it Sunday.
Right, because I don't get in till later on in the day, and I got to figure out something with Grandma. I'll probably get over to your place.
Yeah, we'll
have her stay over there.
Do whatever. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Do another podcast with Graham on the couch.
She'll sit there and listen. She's fine.
Yeah.
If she wants to come over, she may wig out and decide, I'm not going anywhere.
Well, she's loving it there. She gets her wine there with Aunt Sue and Uncle Jerry. She gets her own box now. We're not even allowed to share anymore.
No touch her box.
No touch her box. We're not allowed to. So
yes, I think she was questioning who was drinking all her wine. Didn't realize it was her.
Her, yeah. Grandma's going through a whole box of wine in like 2 days. So.
Yeah, she's good for a bottle a week here, which really, it sounds like a lot. I wasn't giving her as much as Susan does because we didn't do wine and cheese here. We had dinner, as you know, at 5, and she got her wine then, and it was usually just one glass. So, but even just doing that, that's about, one small bottle is once a week.
Yeah.
She's shocked by that. Like, Mom, it's a glass of wine.
I don't know how that compares to the box. Like, I don't know if there's more wine in a box wine than a...
Oh, yes, there is.
Yeah,
That's
so
why
Grandma's definitely doing more than one bottle, you know what I'm saying?
No, I know. Susan's giving her a couple glasses a night. She gets it at
It's
dinner.
actually
she
more
gets
so
the
Uncle
wine
Jerry,
and cheese.
honestly. Uncle Jerry's the
probably
one that
Jerry.
does it. But, she's liking it here. I don't think she's going to want to go back to New Jersey after how she's being fed, but I think she does. Did Grandma hear that Sharon died? Did you guys tell Grandma?
Yeah, Susan said she told her today.
Oh.
She took it all right. She took it okay.
Oh, okay. We weren't sure.
Yeah, I didn't. I said, does it matter if you don't have to tell her, why bother? Because she's not going to see her unless she goes up there again. That's until the spring, and you can tell her then. Only because she hasn't been feeling well. So I said, maybe you want to hold off until she feels well. But
yeah,
Aunt Sue can't. Aunt Sue can't hold a secret. She's not laughing.
That's a tough one though,
secret,
because
but
you're trying to keep a secret of someone that doesn't exist anymore. It's tough.
Well, and Grandma checks the obituaries every day.
Yeah.
So eventually she's going to see it. So it's not like you can leave it forever. But I said, as long as she feels all right, I would tell her. If she's achy and doesn't feel well, that'll just get her more upset. So I guess she felt okay, and she told her. And is what it is.
Yeah, she was. Aunt Sue told me like the second I left the other day, she started feeling sick. I was like, that's weird.
Oh, yesterday?
No, Sunday. What's Wednesday?
Wednesday, yeah. Well, I think she's been fighting. You mean Grandma or Aunt Sue?
Grandma.
Oh, yeah, I think she's fighting a virus from that other day when she woke up and her arm hurt. And it was like maybe a week ago. She woke up and she was in a bad way, and Aunt Sue called me because she was nervous about her. I'm like, Susan, it is what it is. She's 90 years old. Something's meant to be. It's meant to be. I don't want Aunt Susan to feel guilty and stressed because, what do I do? What do I do? So if you can't get her blood pressure and if she doesn't get better, just take her to the emergency room or the, walk-in clinic and have them see what it is. And then after a while, it turned out to be, we don't even know. She burped. She felt better. So probably indigestion.
Like a baby?
You know what else? Well, you know what else too? Like Jerry gave her something and then Susan gave her something. Like, guys, you can't give her 2 pills at the same time with no food. She doesn't weigh as,
Right.
She's not a heavy person. And without food, so that made her a little bit nauseous. Well, that makes sense because, she can't have pills like that. I think they gave her Tylenol and a baby aspirin. So, and
drugging
also
my
she had,
grandmother.
Yeah. When she gets a pain in her back, it goes to her lower back, like the same spot.
Right.
So that's what it was. And that's usually what happens. When she gets a bad cold or something, it starts in her back. So anyhow, Sue said she was starting to get better. And I didn't know she had a little relapse after you left, but maybe too much party when you're there. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. The too much watching YouTube. Like I think on Wednesday we just watched music stuff on YouTube. That was really it. We didn't do anything else. So
Oh, that's exciting.
yeah. So everything's been pretty quiet here. Not much has changed. Just
Okay.
staying busy.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
We don't like it crazy.
Yeah. But you know what is crazy? These wildfires that are still going in
Yes.
California. Now, speaking of which, this is how fast time moves. Whatever happened to all the drones?
Nothing.
Yeah, like they're gone. They
They're
just
just gone.
disappeared. Yeah. I was thinking about that this morning. I was like, we just like stopped talking about that.
Yeah, all I heard was Trump saying that when I get into office, I'm going to release the information about these drones. Because everyone was asking so many questions. What's with the drones? How come nobody's telling us anything?
So it just kind of
So
says it's
that was
government,
last I heard.
probably. That's
Yeah.
probably what it comes down to. Is his inauguration this weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Monday.
wow. Ooh, it's going to be a long weekend.
Yeah. Plus, you have the college football game, the championship, Monday night. It's a busy night on Monday.
Ooh. So LA is now in a doom era. It'll boom again. Now, have you heard this conspiracy theory about these fires, Mother? Did Kenny tell you this?
No, I have not.
Kenny
No, I have
actually
not.
mentioned this to me, and I had to look into it. So, a couple years ago, they were trying to put a train line in, and they weren't allowed to do it because there would have been too much deforestation, right?
Right.
So they
Yeah.
track these fires, and assuming, let's just say that it's not true, but like if it was true, these fires, the pattern that they go, like how they started and how they evolved, is the exact same as the map of the train line they were going to put in. So they think that these were controlled burns that got out of control. Now, again, that's just the conspiracy. I'm not throwing that out there, but it is a little weird how it is when you overlay the two. It's almost identical. So,
Yeah.
but it is a shame to see how bad it's gotten. So now here's my question about, and you actually explained this to me, but I think this is the question that a lot of people who aren't in the know have. Gavin Newsom's taken a lot of heat for this. Now, I think most people would ask the question, how is this the governor's fault for a fire breaking out?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, because you explained it to me. You explained it to me
um,
once, and you were like,
Well, how is this going to fall? Okay, well, when you think of California, you think of Hollywood, you think of earthquakes, and you think of forest fires. It's what they're known for, right? And while he's been dancing around, bending over backwards to appease the illegal immigrant population and creating homeless camps, remember, he's responsible for all these cities as the governor, right? And the infrastructure. That's the number one thing. Any elected official, their number one job is to keep their people safe, including the President of the United States, right? And it trickles down. That's the governor's job. That's the mayor's job, to keep the citizens safe. And you work with the infrastructure in place to do it. And if it's a weak infrastructure, it's your responsibility to fund it and fix it. Get the funding and have it done. Yeah. So while he's dancing around doing his, I'm going to be the next presidential nominee for the Democratic Party, we have found out that they never cleaned out the forestation that has been suggested over and over again that needs to be done. They have never, they did not fill the reservoirs. They have all these liberal policies in place to protect all these endangered species, and in the process, they put their citizens at risk. As the person running the state, doesn't matter what party you are, it's your responsibility to know about that stuff. Now, on top of it, we're finding out as they dig deeper, right, all these fire trucks that have been sidelined because there wasn't money to fix them. They're sitting in a parking area, and they got one of those wonderful drones taking a picture. At the same time, the mayor of Los Angeles cut the budget by millions and millions of dollars, some of which she was proposing to cut from the fire department right before this happened. Now we're seeing all these hires who, one of them admitted she was a fire chief, I think, in one of the areas. She happens to be a lesbian, right? Who admits on tape that if your husband's there, I can't, you're stuck. I can't carry you, okay? Now that has nothing to do with the person's gender. that means she wasn't qualified to do the job, right? This is what happens when top-down policy says, doesn't matter if they could do the job, the important thing is to get a certain person in that job.
Right.
Well, people died because of that. I mean, literally, people died. And some individuals, in the first responders, some of them are going to die if they haven't already. So now these decisions have consequences. And I read your article out of the Hollywood Reporter.
Yep.
Talk about, I won't call it a fluff piece, but, it's everything else caused these problems except for the people running it.
Right.
You're going to have forest fires. I mean, it's happened before, and the person points that out. These things raged out of control, and the mayor wasn't even around. She was wasting tax dollars going to another country. Don't know why, okay? As these things are raging. And everyone's trying to pass the buck on somebody else. At the end of the day, it damn well is your fault. And I hope a lot of the people, what's scary is I saw another article, 50% of the people in that state still don't believe it's their fault. No, the fires weren't necessarily their fault. But the fact that they got out of hand to the point where it's devastated a good chunk of that state, and some of them I think are still going, yeah, that is their fault. Because it's not like they were not known for forest fires.
I've been seeing news clips. I wouldn't say I've been watching the news, but it's kind of, I don't know how to feel about it, but they'll have people go through and it's like, oh, like the guy that found his dog that he thought died. Like, that's great. But then there's this one guy that's sitting at his house and he's like, yeah, I got to call my mom. This is the house that I grew up in, all this. And it turns out he lived there for like a year. And so you can see like the news organizations are really kind of milking the story a little bit, which is tough to see, but then there are the good moments like the dog one that I was telling you about. But
well, if you think about it, the first few stories was all about these celebrities. Well, I feel bad for anybody who loses a home and loses property, especially if there's pets. But it's hard to feel sorry for somebody whose mansion that's $12 million burned down and it's their third home. I feel bad for them. They have the money to rebuild, whether they have insurance or not. They do have a place to go if they were even in that house at all. And I think that the media was starting to realize that. They were focusing too much on the celebrities and individuals, which, and I'm sure this audience, maybe they're not aware of this because nobody's aware of this. At the same time, I'm hearing a story. Anybody remember the hurricane in North Carolina and Tennessee that affected people out west?
right.
Do you realize these individuals are still living in tents? Think of how cold it is outside, Christopher, where you are.
Yeah.
Okay? They're in the mountain regions with snow. These are American citizens who have been totally abandoned. And I'm scratching my head a little bit about what's the plus to going to North Carolina here if this is how your governor treats you. I haven't heard boo from the governor of that state. We know the federal government, forget it. Joe Biden wasn't going to do anything more for them, and FEMA pretty much walked away. But where's your governor? Why aren't all you citizens
walked away
in
or
that state
spent everything?
Well, it's a new governor. He just got elected. I would be, and he's a Democrat, not that that matters. I'd be screaming. These poor people. I cannot believe that. And Tennessee, which is, tends to be a red state, and I think parts of West Virginia. Why are these people, as citizens, why are they not being helped? And now you got the fire in Los Angeles. Well, nobody's going to care about the people in North Carolina anymore. But they did. I saw an interview with people in that area. They said it is literally the same as it was the day after the hurricane. Nothing has changed.
Yeah.
We have no water. We have no heat. We're getting supplies from an auto dealership as people are trying to pull stuff together to go buy, your basic personal items. Some of the area, yeah, it's not highly populated, maybe not the most educated, not the most economically sound area. Some of them it was poor, like the Appalachian Mountain area.
Yeah.
But they're still citizens of this country. And then I have to read an article, I think it was Louisiana. They sent their National Guard to Africa to build houses.
Okay. Not exactly prioritizing correctly.
And they wonder why a good chunk of this country is becoming outraged.
Yeah.
You wonder why. It's not Donald Trump. I'm here to tell you, people, it's not because of Donald Trump. We're outraged.
Well, remember, there's a good percentage of people in America that think that he's been the president since the election. So just remember that.
I can't help those people. But it whatever. I hope the president does immediate attention to those individuals. East Palestine, does anybody remember them in Ohio? The train derailment?
Palestine, right? East Palestine. Was the way that was
I guess they
pronounced?
call it Palestine. All right, East Palestine. Okay, those people still have got nothing from the government. Nothing. The water's polluted. Businesses are still shut down. This is the United States of America, dumping billions of dollars into foreign countries, and we're not even caring for our own people. And they still want to make some sort of ridiculous case. I saw you brought up an article of Pete Hegseth, his confirmation hearings, confirming all these people. The audacity of these individuals in Congress to be picking away at what Trump says he's going to do and how he's a threat when your own people in your own country still haven't gotten help from you. And you currently are in government. You currently are in Congress.
Yeah.
It's just shameful. It's absolutely shameful.
What also surprises me is the amount of videos I see of people that are just continuing to burn stuff. Like, have you seen these arsonists that just, like, people just burn their trash now? It's funny how a tragedy happens of these forest fires, and they'll literally just post people just throwing fires into dumpsters. It's like, there's a lot of people that want to watch the world burn.
No. It causes chaos.
Yeah.
Remember, there's no the cities are now scrambling because whatever resources they have, they're sending to other towns to help them. So they create these fires to then go loot. So they go into neighborhoods and stores and they loot because there's no police force. There's no first responders in the area because they're being moved over to other areas.
Right.
So that's why they're doing it. And that's why they're arresting a couple of them because they find them setting fires. I think the last couple were, of course, illegal immigrants who were setting them in some town near a place called Kenneth. Literally called Kenneth. Yeah, so the police came back, arrested them, threw them in jail because that's what they do. They're trying to create chaos in the town to go out and loot.
Oh.
That's, for those remembering the BLM, the Black Lives Matters riots. Okay, everyone thinks, oh, it was a political statement. No, it wasn't. It was an excuse to go and loot cities and burn them down. They caused the chaos while people were running in and just stealing things from all these stores. So personally, if that's what something I believed in was being represented by it, I would have shut it down a long time ago. But that's what the BLM riots were all about, the destruction of businesses, and they did it by causing chaos.
Right. Since you already talked about it, I kind of we'll just move right into it with Hegseth. Now,
yes.
Let me tell you, the clips that have been coming out from this are diabolical. He roasted these people. I mean, the big one was Elizabeth Warren. Did you see the whole "I'm not a general"? Yes. Oh, yes. That was the icing on the cake. So, Mug, could you give us kind of the whole what is the? I don't know this guy. Like, I've heard his name before, but I don't know who exactly he is. I understand he has a little bit of a past, but I don't know what his how he got to this position. Like, there was like a part at like news I just missed for 3 weeks or something.
Well, no, Pete Hegseth, he's been on Fox News, right? Mm-hmm. He's done a lot of commentary work. He usually focuses on military-based stuff because he was in the military. Mm-hmm. I believe he got one of the highest awards that at his level at the time he could get, obviously not a general. I forget what it was. He was accepted to West Point, didn't go there, and I only say that because they tried to make something out of that. West Point said, we never...
So did Shane Gillis, Mom, but that didn't last very long.
Right. I forget the whole story behind it, but something to the effect, then that was fairly recent since he's been nominated. So it's just been a constant smear campaign. He's highly qualified for the position.
And he's going for Secretary of Defense, right?
Yes. So he's going to head up the military, basically, the Defense Department, the Pentagon, and all that. That's going to be his cabinet position. And he's qualified to do it, but they don't, I shouldn't say they. Those who are not supporters of the Trump agenda, if you will, he's going to clean up the military, and he's pretty much said he's going to. Enough with the DEI woke stuff. Our military is an embarrassment. What happened in Afghanistan is an embarrassment. As we know, the Pentagon constantly fails its audits, right?
Yeah.
So the Democrats
every year for like the last 20 years.
Right, and some of them had the audacity to say to him, "What audit have you ever done? When have you ever been?" I mean, this is their answer to somebody. Yeah. They're acting as though it failed under him. So it's his problem that he's never had to do an audit. Well, he's been in the military, and I trust that he has the ability as a serviceman who's gotten as far as he has to handle an audit better than some of the, who knows what crooks have been running them over the the decades in that department. He did run into a little bit of trouble where he, fairly recently, but I don't think he was in a position other than being in Fox News. He met a woman, kind of thing, was separated from his wife, met a woman, had been drinking. She accused him of trying to rape her. It was never proven that that was the case. Matter of fact, there was question as to the veracity of what she was saying because there were cameras at this place and blah, blah, blah. And being like this camera of them talking by the pool at a hotel, she took that and turned it into a story, allegedly, right? So he's addressed it. He's dealt with all of it. And there was never anything proven. You know, there was no evidence of what she was saying. And one of the other, who was it? Mulcahy, I forget the senator's name, brought up some very good points during his confirmation hearing. He was a Republican who said, who here hasn't come back from dinner drunk and come in here and voted on bills in our job? And he says, you all know
that's
it.
pretty
Nobody
funny.
lie it. Hey, how many of you have divorced your wives and had affairs? We all know it. You all do it, you know, and you come back and do your job. So he basically made a point of, you know, this guy is no different than anybody else. We're going to hold this against him. In other words, how
That's
many
pretty
other
wild
people
to-
we had sit here?
It's hard to call that a defense, but also I get his point.
Well, and his isn't even
Yeah, because
proven,
he was.
and he has admitted he was a drink. He said he had. I think he said he had a drinking issue. I don't know if it's a full-time problem. When
Right.
he's going through divorce, I think he's back with his wife. They're still together, and he didn't deny that happened. He does absolutely deny that he ever a woman or attacked that particular woman.
Well, he said
So-
one of the guys up there obviously is a Democrat, but he was talking about something about domestic violence. Did you see this? He's like talking about I don't
know.
think something about domestic violence. He was like, I don't think anyone should be the Secretary of Defense if they've ever hit a woman. And the guy's like, okay, where'd this come from? Like, I guess
It's very possible that the woman who claimed she had been
Oh, that
raped,
could be it. Yeah.
that he tried to hit her or grabbed her arm. I don't remember the full.
Yeah. Good call.
Again, it literally came out of nowhere as soon as this guy was
It
nominated.
was very strange.
And
But you know what the best part is? The guy who brought it up, apparently he had some issue with like sleeping with a man, like the exact same story.
It
So
wouldn't surprise me.
yeah, and then he
it
got
wouldn't
hit for like 10 years ago or something. So
Yeah.
again, politics are gross.
Well, the hypocrisy of the
Yeah, the
situation.
hypocrisy,
And
I should say.
I'm glad this other senator, I'm sorry, it wouldn't be a senator, senator brought it up about, you know, who here hasn't? How many times have we seen Nancy Pelosi slur her words in front of us?
That's because
on
she's
national
old,
TV?
Mom, and she spends a lot of time, mental energy on the stocks.
Yeah,
Come
well,
on.
considering how much money she spent and submitted for a bill years ago for the liquor on an airplane going back and forth between
That's right.
Sacramento or
Forgot
San
about that.
Francisco, for them to turn around and say to somebody else, you know, who's obviously not drunk right now at this confirmation hearing. So I'm not a proponent of anybody who has. I often say, you know what? Why do you get into politics if you have any sort of issue in your background?
Yeah.
But everything's relative, and you're, as you know, just saying you're going to do something. They come out of the woodwork and they claim that you've done things. We've seen the smear campaign. Look at Kavanaugh. It's a smear campaign, and they usually start with the easy one of a woman alleges that you tried to attack them. They start with that, and they try to make something out of it.
Yeah.
What I'm going to say is to take away from these hearings, these confirmation hearings, Pete Hegseth, Bondi, the Attorney General, has been up there. Scott Bessent has been up there. He's Secretary of Treasury. Marco Rubio. They've done phenomenally well. They've been astute. They've spoken well. They've handled every question. Nobody's gotten flustered. And as a plus, oftentimes they've turned around. Oh, and the other one, Christine Noem. They've turned these senators on their heels and embarrassed them. One tried to make a point about the oligarchs under Trump, because Musk being involved and whatnot. And I think it was Scott Bessent. He turned around and said, well, I believe the Medal of Freedom was just given to two of them by Joe Biden.
Is that Father?
Yeah.
Hello, Father.
Yes. So it was like one of those in-your-face kind of moments where you're trying to beat a dead horse here. This is I don't know if I call it stupidity, or they're so seeped in this hypocrisy that they can't even see it in front of themselves. I mean, literally, there was a Medal of Freedom ceremony 2 weeks ago in the White House where George Soros got a Medal of Freedom.
I know, which is wild. We talked
A
about
joke
that.
in and of itself, but talk about
Okay.
an oligarch. He's the king of the oligarchs, and Joe Biden just
People,
so you're gonna try and make a
you know,
case that Biden Trump has a problem with that?
for people who don't know who George Soros is, we won't go into the details, but just know that this guy's not allowed in Russia anymore because he single-handedly collapsed their dollar.
I don't know if it was Russia or Bulgaria.
I
one
believe
of
it
those,
was.
or Romania. One of
I
those
feel like it was
countries, but
Russia, but like, yeah, he's just not allowed in. But
I think Giorgia Meloni has banned him from Italy too.
when you're putting Hillary and Soros up there, you know that's not where you. That's they've tainted the honesty or not the honor of that medal.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's a joke, and a lot of people who it's outrageous, and it is what it is. But point being, they're trying to hit you with that at a confirmation hearing. Are you kidding me?
yeah,
One was talking about like 36,000 children that Trump is going to separate. He says he's going to separate day one. What do you think about that? And Kristi Noem turned around and said, well, I'm worried about those children. I'm worried about the 300,000 children that have been lost under this administration. They have no idea where they are. So it was the Connecticut Blumenthal. He says, well, let's put a pin in that for a minute. She goes, well, basically, no, I don't want to put a pin in that. I care about all the kids. Like, that's their attitude. Like, don't worry about the 300,000.
yeah.
Let's talk about the 37,000 that Trump talked about. So they really, I mean, and you mentioned Liz Warren, they're just making fools of themselves. When I heard Mazie Hirono, the Hawaiian senator, talk, she was
Yeah.
asking some questions a couple times. The first time I heard her, I thought, if I'm sitting in that chair, I'd ask the chairman, should we take a break? Because I think this woman's having a stroke. The way she was slurring her words, she couldn't look up from the paper. I mean, we know she's not the swiftest. She's just reading things off a paper. But I'm thinking to myself, is she drunk? She doesn't seem drunk, but she seems to be slurring her words. And that would be my natural response, not knowing the woman at all. And these are the people turning around and criticizing, Pete Hegseth, who's as sharp as a tack.
Yeah, he mopped the floor with everyone in there. It wasn't even like Twitter was going crazy. They were like, yeah, this isn't even close. So is he definitely getting
He should have been confirmed already, and it's outrageous that they're stalling this. So basically, the next president is going to be sworn in, and he will have, I believe, one or two people in his cabinet.
Oh, is that how that works? That's annoying.
Yeah, well, they're supposed to be, you do it beforehand, so they're sworn in, or at least they're confirmed in quick enough time. Technically, I think only two have been confirmed
Which
so
two?
far. I don't know. Well, obviously, his chief of staff, I believe that's one, and that's one he picks. And I forget who the other one was.
It's not Musk, is it, for the Doge?
No, that's not. I don't think that's considered a
RFK?
That's not when you confirm. I'm trying to think who it was.
Marco Rubio, Scott Bassett.
Yeah, as Treasury. He's Defense. She's the Attorney General. He's Interior.
Yeah. Brooke Rollins.
Yeah, I don't know her, Rollins.
Howard Lutnick.
Howard Lutnick. I don't think he's been confirmed yet. I don't even know if he's gone in front of everybody.
Lori
If he's been
Chavez Demir.
Kennedy, no.
Sean Duffy.
I don't know if any of these other people have been confirmed yet.
This is going to be one hell of a cabinet. Oh, this is Susie Wild, right?
Yeah,
Kesh
she's the
Patel.
chief of
Did
staff.
Kesh Patel get sworn in yet?
No, they haven't even.
Oh, my
kidding me?
God.
What are they going to drag him through the mud? Oh, Ratcliffe did really well. Ratcliffe was like in the face of Shifty Shift, named not him by name, but said, I stood up when somebody leaked information. Talk about Schiff. Tulsi has not even been in front of them yet. I guess she's next week. I've heard him, but I don't know if he's been confirmed yet. I do know they plan to do something in Chicago on day one. Russ Vaught's very good. I mean, I think he might have switched out Mike Waltz. I don't know if he's officially picked Waltz.
Kelly Loeffler?
No, I don't know this one.
Loeffler?
Yeah, I don't know what she's a.
Alina Habba.
She's from Bedminster.
Oh, really? Crypto Czar.
Yeah, David Sachs.
Yeah, the crypto one's
now those positions I don't believe get confirmed. I believe those are ones that he
Gotcha.
picks, like Carolyn Levitt. They don't get confirmed. That's the president's choice.
Gotcha.
She would be the equivalent to Karine Jean-Pierre, the one who's you see now from the White House.
Yeah, the black lady.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So she's her that last one you
I
saw,
think
Carolyn Levitt.
I think that's the hardest job. I think that is the hardest job in all the cabinet. Being able to know that your president did something wrong and you got to lie your way through it.
Yeah, they don't make it easy. That's
like,
for
I
sure.
bet you she's like so done with Biden, but she knows her job is to defend him with every ounce of power she has.
Yeah, and it's a hard thing to do. The guy's got dementia.
Yeah, the guy's really
You never know what's
struggling.
coming out of his mouth. Yeah, you never know what's coming out of his mouth, and you got to look like the fool. But as you see, Chris, that's the arrogance of it. She'll leave that job and she'll go into some phenomenal, career in journalism or the TV pundits, whatever. Somebody will hire her somewhere, and she'll get a multi-million-dollar contract because she stood there and she lied to the American people.
Why
on behalf
can't
of
I
the
get one
president.
of those? Well, that's her job, right?
No, it's not their job to lie.
Oh, okay.
It's not your job to get up there and.
I thought their job was to defend the president.
Well, you represent his or her agenda.
If you ever became
And
president,
the
Mom, would you let me be your press secretary? Your secretary?
No.
My mom's always fucking right, you morons. My mom's gonna tear shit up.
Yeah. Well, it's not an easy job for somebody to do. You're right. It's very difficult if you don't believe in the agenda, or you don't drink the Kool-Aid, or if you have a situation where the president goes off the rails completely.
Yeah,
now
and you gotta try and figure it out. What he
Right.
actually meant was, and it's like, oh man. But she like
Right.
every time she does a conference now, and what's that blonde guy from Fox? That I think he's Fox,
Ducey.
but yeah,
Peter Ducey.
that guy. Like when those two go at it, like when she sees he has a question, she knows it's coming. She's like, okay, let's get this over with. So,
But he was the first one, and he was pretty consistent. But now you start to see all the other ones start to turn a little bit.
yeah,
And I heard one recently. They were doing a flashback of her time there, and he said, "All right, so when gas prices came down, it was because of President Biden. Now that they're going up, was it because of him too?" And her answer was, "Oh, come on, those things are nuanced. There's a lot of things that go into the prices going up. I mean, okay, she's selling it as best she can without lying, right?" So that's how you do it. In
That's
that case,
such
I
a
don't
hard
fault
job to
her.
think
She's
about.
got to give an answer. But when you point blank lie, "Oh, I never said that," or "The president never said that," yeah, he literally just did a week ago. That's where I have a problem,
Yeah.
So we'll see. Let's see how Carolyn Levitt, the one who's taking over the job, kudos to her. She's one of the youngest women to run for office in her state. I think it was Massachusetts or Rhode Island. She did not win, but she won the Republican primary. I think she was 23. Right out of college.
Damn.
Yeah, she's very young. She's since gone on and done other things politically related.
And I do a
And
podcast
now
with my
she-
mom.
I
The
know,
hell am I
know.
doing?
I was like, yeah, I know.
Oh, good for
But I'll
her.
tell you, and this goes out to people out there with kids too. I never realized how, I'll use the term, not easy, but let's say straightforward a path it is for somebody to be an intern with a congressman or a senator in your state, whatever state. I recently get letters from my congressman. He sends it to me all the time, as part of one of the constituents. "Hey, I'm looking for interviewing for my interns now." Like, damn, I wish, if I knew it was that easy, why didn't my parents have me send in
Yeah.
something back in high school?
Or you could just do it the other way. Pull a Kamala. That's what I'm going to do.
Oh, that's your goal?
That's my goal.
But likewise, I would have done it with all three of you guys if I knew
Yeah.
that was, just fill in an
Well, that's
application.
what our cousin did. That's what Abby
Yeah,
did.
I mean, here I thought you have to know somebody, and maybe that is still true, but in certain districts, you got a shot. Every state has 2 senators, and,
Yeah.
you got a representative in your town, and they rotate them out every year, I think. It's a 1-year internship or something like
Oh,
that.
that's not bad.
Yeah, I think it is. I don't know all the details, but I saw it one day, and I go, damn, he's looking for people? Like, do I know anybody whose kids want to do it? And it looks great for resume and great experience. So anyhow, back to Carolyn Levitt. I know she was kind of involved in politics, and she stayed within that circle. And I think she speaks very well. And we'll see how she does.
Yeah.
It's not an easy job, to your point.
Well, that's great. You said she was Massachusetts. Massachusetts is a
I
great,
think it was Massachusetts.
great state and all, but what about Florida banning cell phones in the school districts?
Yeah.
What is all
We've
this?
seen this before, right? We've talked about this on the podcast and other places.
I'm just gonna grab water. Go ahead, continue.
What I found interesting about this is the amount of crime that's gone down in these schools, and obviously the academics went up. But the funniest part about this article was the teacher they quoted who had a good point. He said, "This is the first time I've had all eyes on me." I almost laughed. He teaches drama. Okay, that's pretty common in schools as an extracurricular. And law. Like, is this a high school or college or graduate level that they offered that in the school? I found that, I don't know, I guess interesting. I guess it's if it's an extra class, that's great if you could take drama and or law.
Well, I'm
But
more
the
surprised by the fact that you're telling me these kids are on their cell phones the whole time, and then and they don't take. What's going on right now? Am I super laggy for you?
no,
Oh, okay. Maybe it's my
okay.
internet or something. But yeah, strange. I'm very surprised by the fact that the school doesn't not ban cell phones, but I'm surprised that the school allows these kids to have their cell phones out in class. Like, what does he mean by he's not used to having all the eyes on him?
Yeah. Well, Chris, ask your cousin sometime what it was like at a public high school in upstate New York. There
That's
are kids in the
wild.
back of the class with the beats on. They never take the beats off.
That's
And
that's
kids
insane.
and kids can hear the music while the teacher's teaching. Okay? Yeah, you guys have no idea. And that's considered a maybe not top notch, but it's middle class, decent, large public high school in upstate New York.
Right.
So yeah, we have no idea. I cannot fathom how much the quality of what goes on in these classrooms has eroded. But the point is, doing this seems to be helping. The grades are going up. But the interesting part, which maybe you get better than I do, I was shocked by this. They said the cell phones have helped, obviously, with bullying, but with fights, because they use their cell phones to coordinate who's going to be the lookout, who's going to take the first punch, who's going to videotape it, right? So they said, it's really stopping a lot of the coordinated efforts of violence in the schools. And it's really cut it down, I think, by 17% in the last
What
couple
made you
months.
think I would know anything about it?
No, I mean, in terms of understanding what you
I
can
guess.
do
Yeah.
with these online platforms, because I was never in school with cell phones.
Yeah,
I
I
have
think
no
they just mean
idea.
texting. But yeah, you're right. I mean, to your point, because like if you were caught with a cell phone in class, I mean, you were losing your cell phone for the day. So I thought that was just
Because
universal. I thought that was just at
no,
any school.
that's the school you went to, because the parents were okay with that. I have heard, I don't have true experience with this, but usually it's the kids that don't care. I mean, they complain at first, right? But the ones that don't like it the most are the parents, because the parents want to be able to reach their kid 24/7.
Yeah.
So if you take the cell phone away, mommy can't text you or daddy can't get in touch and find out, was your practice changed? Are you okay in school? Like, I would be beside myself if my kid was being bullied and they couldn't reach him or her in school, right? But I don't know that that's not the answer to let everybody, I think if you're seeing an effort to cut down in bullying, as a parent, you're going to have to accept the fact that if they take it away from everybody and it helps, it's going to help my kid. And you got to trust that the school's going to really watch your kid and make sure they didn't get bullied on the side, right?
Yeah.
But having said that, if that's the environment we're in, I thought the whole point of all these initiatives was to stop bullying in schools. And
Well,
it seems to me,
go ahead.
the social media is the worst thing. The cell phone is the worst thing of all.
One of the coolest things I ever saw to this day is burned into my head. Remember Miss? I'll take her out, but we were in study hall and she was the only teacher that didn't allow cell phones in study hall. And this girl, I don't remember her last name. Her name was Leanne. She was in my class. Like Miss Loveland's like, give me your phone. And she just goes, no. And Miss Loveland did nothing. She couldn't do anything. So I was like,
Right.
damn. So,
Yeah.
but I don't know why that stuck out. But yeah, I mean, back then we didn't, like, there wasn't much you could do with a cell phone. I mean, I say it like so long ago, but it was just Instagram was really the only popular thing. And even then.
Well, I distinctly remember in high school, Ken having an issue, your brother having an issue, because the teacher would only post the assignments online.
Right.
He wouldn't put it up on the board. And at the time, your brother didn't have a phone or wasn't allowed to use it in school or whatever the story was. And he would get crazy because he's like, Mom, I don't know what the assignment is. I don't know what books I need because I can't find out till I get home. So I said, well, that's ridiculous. The teacher should be telling you. No, he will only post it. And even when I talked to the teacher, he says, well, I post it for everybody online, but it changes. So they have to check their phone to see if I change the thing. Like, do you hear what you're saying?
Yeah.
It's like, you understand what you're saying? I'm trying to get my son away from the phones, and P.S. Here we are.
Yeah.
Right, with this article.
Well, now also like with the school systems, so many things are online based. Like you can't get away from it now. It's not possible. Like even in college, everything was, and I guess it's a little different because you have a campus and tons of people. But at a high school level, high school kind of is becoming kind of like a little college in a sense. In the fact that everything's online, but also I guess high school is kind of designed to prepare you for college. So I guess it kind of makes sense, but I don't know. It's inevitable.
Well, I'll say this. If you're in a meeting for work, you can't be sitting on your cell phone.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think they've become more relaxed with people having cell phones, even if you're a cashier, because I see people sneaking it. I see young people, taking it out while I'm fiddling to get my credit card out and they're checking messages. I'm not going to rat somebody out, but we know, and we've read other articles about how it's addictive. And I think people need to learn there are times to just put it down.
I always wonder what the actual addictive process is on a phone. So what I mean by that is like texting someone, talking to someone. I don't see how that's addictive. Like you talk to someone. Instagram and
that
stuff.
Article where the chime itself released serotonins in the brain. Every time the person heard the chime, their brain would light up. There's a physiological thing. We did a whole thing on it.
But my question is, what about that are you getting addicted to? In the sense of you got a message, okay, you're going to answer the message. Just like if you were to say, hey, Chris, if you're in the same room, I'm going to respond to, hey, Chris, right? Yes, mother, what do you need? Like, you see what I'm saying? The addiction process of Instagram, TikTok, whatever, I wonder what that is. Because as someone who posts a lot and like you get likes and stuff, whatever, if that all went away tomorrow, besides the company of Pancake 101, I wouldn't care, right? Like TikTok literally gets banned tomorrow and it all goes away, and I really couldn't care less.
I'll equate it to like junk food. It's easy to eat. It's quick. It's easy, and it's satisfying.
Yeah.
You don't have to sit there and think. You don't have to read an article. I can watch a 5-minute video. It's quick. It's easy. It's mentally. It's
quick, easy, or is it better?
Faster. I don't think it's better, but my point is mentally, it's not good to eat junk food. We all know that, but people want to do it. We all do it sometimes. It's quick. It's easy. If somebody says to you, just eat junk food all the time, well, I know it's not good, but I'm going to do it. It's the easiest. I'm going to do it, right? Most people, to your point, they don't see the negatives of, and it's not an instantaneous negative. It's a build-up negative.
Right.
Like now you have worse social skills because you become more dependent on an apparatus. You have worse writing skills.
That's the downside.
You're not writing more.
Right. That's the downside of the cell phones and texting and social media. But my question is, what are people actually getting addicted to? Is it the messaging? Is it the likes on Facebook, seeing the likes and comments or whatever? Or is it because to me, the addiction is the fact that you're filling a null void, a void in your time that a lot of kids have nowadays. Well, people, I should say, not just kids.
Yeah,
so you're filling that void of the awkward silence sometimes. So when you're fiddling with your credit card or whatever.
Right, and kids or people who are not yet mature, let's put it that way. You're very different socially as a kid. You're much more intimidated by the outside forces, right? Because you're not fully mature yet emotionally, mentally. That's why bullying has such a strong effect on young people. They take to heart what other people say. And that was always true. When you were the kid, how many after-school shows did you see? Little Jimmy got bullied because he walks funny, right? And kids would pick on him. And that impacted him. Imagine multiply that by 1,000 times.
And you can't get away with it anymore.
Right. And kids have not progressed. They have not evolved to become more callous.
Right.
So that's part of the reason why you're seeing, and we're going on to an offshoot, but I just read a whole article about a detransitioning woman, a young person who went to Israel and had to fight a war, and it woke up her mind to, I'm so worried about being in the wrong body, and here I am watching people die.
Right.
Having said that, even she would say, you had that constant information coming at you from social media telling you that you're not happy in your body, or you're ugly, or you're this, you're that.
I would also think though that here might be a hot take, but I think a lot of it also has to do with the kids that just don't even understand how to work social media. Like the concept of being so that statement of you can't get away from bullying anymore or whatever it is. Like it takes 2 seconds to block one or a group of people to never have to deal with them again on social media. So like that's why I never understood that argument. It's just that kids don't know how to block people.
But you're still seeing them in the hallway. You're still seeing them
right,
next
and
to the locker.
that's personal bullying at school. But we're talking about the social media aspect of bullying. Like it's very easy to get rid of someone on social media.
Right, but you're looking at it from the perspective of an adult, right? When you're in school, I mean, think about yourself. You were drawn into social media type games and whatnot because that's what the other guys were doing.
Sure.
It was a connection for you.
Right. You're talking about how, right. I'm saying from the idea of you're going to get bullied at school and you don't want this at home. If you don't want this, I can't help you with what's going on at school, but
Right.
the cyberbullying can be ixnayed very quickly.
Well, I'll give you another perspective, though. I agree with what you're saying. It's very easy to shut it off. But it's not easy for the kid because now they feel they're going into school the next day without knowledge. They don't know what's being said about them. They've been cut off. I would say it's a good thing, right? But the bullying that continues, it has to stop in general. I'm not saying that it's good in any way, nor do I think, oh, you should keep it up in the evenings. But I understand what a kid is saying. It's like that sick feeling of, I got to know what bad things they're saying so I'm prepared tomorrow and I don't get blindsided, right? And it's also, in a warped way, a connection for some kids that it may be negative, but at least they're talking about me, right?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Weird thing. I do recall a parent, this was when you were very young, and they first started with the social media. It was actually, what was that old place? MySpace. It was before Facebook. And I remember a kid having comments said about him at grammar school or middle school.
Who was this?
I'm not going to say because I don't want to get
Well, I cut everything out.
So it was the oldest boy.
Oh, yes, I remember that.
Okay, right. And I remember saying to the mother, because I mean, think about that. You were much younger than he was, and I had zero tolerance then for social media.
Yeah, I don't know how much older was he than me. I mean, he must have been in college.
Because there was a sister older too, so there was another. Right. But anyhow, her point was, he never went on it, but he had to go on it to defend himself. People were saying all these things that weren't true, and it was getting to be like out of control. But he was a strong enough personality, and I assume, to get on there, nip it in the bud, and say, this is BS, no more, and it was done, right? So that's the other side of it is people start saying things about you, Chris, and it grows. And if you don't have a voice and if you don't say something, then it can get even worse because it gets out of control, right? I don't know the balance. That's why my attitude is I wish there was none of it. It was hard enough in school when it was one-on-one and coming out of your mouth during the school day.
No, you have to
I can only imagine when you're getting it 24/7.
Well, yeah, it definitely sucks. But the other one that baffles me is kids that get cyber bullied by people that they don't even know in real life. Like that doesn't make sense to me because that's the click of one button. That's done.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think if anything, I think these social media platforms have to. They don't have to do anything, but you do have to show people how to block people.
Well,
especially kids.
I think, back to the article, I think it's a step in the right direction. I think all schools should ban them, frankly. There's zero educational value. I think they should be allowed them at certain times of the day just to communicate with two working parents, or
Yeah.
in the instance of if there's some sort of family, whatever. Not necessarily at lunchtime, but I'm sure everybody has something built in their schedule every day where they can get 15 minutes to
Yeah.
check their messages.
Homeroom or your study hall. Most schools have
Right.
a
At the
study
end of the
hall.
day, check your messages, whatever.
But let me tell you,
I'm
study
okay.
hall is also gym class, and your boy's going hard in gym class. Gym class was my shit.
That's what I'm
Handball.
saying. You gotta figure out what schools they may have to build that time in, and you know what? I'm okay with that. Keep them in school 15 minutes longer if it means they get these phones taken out of their hands. And maybe it's a process where kids start learning. If you have nothing better to do with your time than bully some kid all day long, you're not getting a decent education.
Yeah, well, that's inevitable. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just
So
an inevitability.
and by the way, I'm paying for that kid to be in the classroom to sit on their phone all day with my tax dollars.
Yeah.
So you know what? Make the teachers teach. Make the kids put the phones away. And if mommy and daddy, I go back to what we've always said. We didn't have phones when we were younger. And we still managed to survive and get to gym and do after school activities.
You had to send a
And
pigeon out the door, right, to get to send
no,
something.
we used a payphone to call your parent, right? Or guess what?
Throw the bird out the window during class to tell grandma what she needs.
Or guess what? You found a way home.
Yeah.
You asked your friend's mom, could I have a ride?
Yeah.
Right? Or you got driven by somebody else. I don't know. Were we endangering ourselves? Well, God, no worse than anybody else at any other time. I mean, it's going to happen whether your kid has a phone or not. But my point is, they're not adding anything. And I swear to God, I harped on this when you guys were little with the cows, the classroom computers and everything else.
The computers on
it's
wheels.
a lot of crap. They're not. It's not benefiting these kids or the cost to traditional education. It's not enhancing it. It's taking it over. And, instead of a cow, they're sitting on a phone all day or they're playing video games or whatever it is. I think this, like I said, step in the right direction. I have yet to see a negative article from a school. We've had, 2 or 3 so far on the podcast?
Yeah.
And it just keeps saying the same thing over and over. Grades go up and kids are less
Right.
bullying.
But you know who has to put the phone away? The French lady who was duped. Oh, wrong one. Damn it.
Oh,
French lady that
no.
was duped by Brad Pitt. I saw this the other day. I was like, damn.
This poor woman. I mean, she's suing now because I think she's
Well,
been
first
mocked
off,
so much.
hold on. First off, the lady's stupid. No
Yeah.
question about it. She divorced her husband because she thought she was that Brad Pitt was trying to marry her.
I know, right?
So, right then and there, like,
A
something's a little
53-year-old
off
woman
here. Go ahead.
named Anne, and I say that for a reason. She thought she was in a relationship with Brad Pitt for a year and a half. So she downloaded something on Instagram in February 2023. A woman was claiming to be Brad Pitt's mother, said her son needed a woman like her. I guess she had something online. Next day, quote unquote, Brad Pitt calls her. She winds up sending him 9,000 euros because he wanted to send her a gift, but couldn't pay the customs on them because his account was locked. Why? Well, he's divorcing Angelina Jolie, so his accounts are locked. Okay, which that might have been true. Who knows?
Side question: didn't they just get back together? Didn't Brad Pitt and Angelina just get back together for the kids?
No, they just finalized their
Oh,
divorce.
opposite. Never mind.
Yeah. Then he
I had
tells her
hope.
he needed kidney cancer treatment, so she sent him more
Oh,
money
my
for that.
goodness.
So to your point, she winds up divorcing her husband. She gets a 775,000, I think it was euro, a settlement or her half of the money, the assets. Even her 23-year-old daughter tries to convince her mom, I don't think this is legit. Mother, she was just like too into it. Then she sees a story about a new girlfriend he has. So he's dating this model, I forget her name, Ines something, right? Now she gets a little suspicious, like what's going on here? But do you know these scammers, they plan ahead. I gotta give them credit. They send her a fake AI, a reporter, who does a whole story that he's actually in a secret relationship with a woman named Anne.
That's
Okay?
wild. Wow.
Yes. So now she's really back into it. After a period of time, she finally realized that the relationship, it wasn't real, and she goes and she contacts the police. But she's been mocked so much that I think she's now suing, their version of a YouTube platform, I guess, because they're just like out of control mocking her. How could you be so stupid? How could you believe those pictures? Blah, blah, blah. We're only getting a portion of the story, but, you know, it's not the first time it happens. And she did have a good point. Imagine if they did that to an older person who didn't figure it out as quickly as I have. Cost her life savings, but I'm like,
Well,
hey, you know.
I talked about it recently with someone. Like these AIs, like I used to be able to tell really well, like, oh, that's an AI. Now it's getting difficult. There have been some where I'm like, oh shit, this is not good. Right.
Yeah.
So I'd love to see the videos and stuff that she was sent to see if I could be like, oh wow, this is there is a good chance you get scammed by this. Like if you can scam me on it, then I'll believe. Then I can't make fun of Anne. But considering how public his life is,
Yeah.
probably a couple news articles could have told you, like legitimate news articles. But the AI saying secret relationship with Anne is pretty.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
I think so too. And the whole intro of the mother reaching out, oh, you'd be perfect for my son. Right there, I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, you're a 53-year-old woman.
Wait, are you telling me? Are you telling me that Selena Gomez that I've been talking to for the last 3 weeks? Are you saying it's actually an Indian guy in Kyrgyzstan?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well,
No, I do feel bad because, as I said, it is so. Again, depending on how old she is, apparently her daughter is 22, so she's 53, right? Yeah. You probably should have done a little more research, right? Because you probably could get them in some kind of a lie at some point.
Well, she's obviously very gullible, and I'm guessing she probably was very insecure if she really believed, oh, yeah, let me send some money because Brad Pitt's having kidney surgery and he can't get cash. And Anne would be the first person he'd ask, his new girlfriend.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. A week into the relationship or whatever.
Right.
Well,
So
you said it was a
fairness,
year
she
and a
might be
half.
little bit-
Year and a half
Yeah.
to keep a scam going is pretty impressive, too.
Yeah, she must have had some issues. But the pictures of
Poor
him,
Anne.
they look cheesy. You know, the
Did
ones
they?
that they posted of him on, I don't know if it was with this article. No, that's him. It was in the first one I saw was in the Daily
sure,
Mail.
Mom?
They had a bunch of pictures.
You sure that's
Well,
him, Mom? Or are you getting
yeah,
duped
well.
right now?
Yeah, well, it could be. It's a picture, though. I'm not sending anybody any money.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
it's a
and
shame.
Anne has to realize the perk to being with somebody like Brad Pitt is that he's supposed to give you money.
Exactly, yeah. Come on, Anne.
You're doing something wrong if you're with somebody and he's asking for your divorce life savings, you know? That in and of itself is a red flag in any relationship. If anybody starts asking you for money, no. Sorry, that's a sign.
Comic effect woman 50's got man. Yeah, no, I do feel really bad for her. But now let's talk about this one. Speaking of getting rid of these companies, Trump says he will most likely delay the TikTok ban. So let's talk about the TikTok ban. What is exactly, have they decided why it's getting banned tomorrow? Like, what's the purpose? Is it just the data mining from China? Is that just the unanimous?
I think that's a big part of it. And they finally got, there's something going on here with Trump. I have not read into it too deeply because I don't know. I think not that we're getting played, but I think there's a strategy here that we're not understanding. He wants to put a temporary hold on it. So in other words, the Biden administration passed the ban, and now they want to dump it on Trump and say, you know, now it's his, now he owns it. I'm no fan of TikTok. I kind of agree with Rand Paul a little bit in that I say you regulate the hell out of it before you ban it completely because it is free speech. You know, I'm a free speech person.
Yeah.
And I think you're better off educating people and parents as to the damage that it has. If it's a method for the Chinese government to cull information from us, maybe we should have banned those drones that were flying overhead, but nobody seemed to care about those, you know? So I think you're picking and choosing what's a security threat. I don't think there's much benefit to TikTok. I think it's mostly entertaining. I ordered a couple things from it on TikTok for the holidays, and they've been a big pain in the ass to get. But having said that, I think that's why Trump said, you know, hold on, I'm not taking the heat for this, and put a 90-day delay on it before he institutes the ban. I think it's all on the federal level. It's a ban on the federal level.
My only question is, and I know everyone's pretty much not up in arms, but there's so much conflicting information because so many companies have tried to buy it. One, I would have thought that someone would have bought it by now. They are asking $50 billion, which is a lot. And I don't know. I know Elon doesn't want it. So
I don't know. Is it officially for sale?
Yeah, they wanted 50 billion. They wanted it for a while.
Oh.
Because, side note, I'll cut this out. But Mr. Beast came out and he wants to buy it, but he doesn't have the money. He doesn't have 50 billion. So it's probably going to be a conglomerate of people that own it if they do sell it. And then the question is, at what point is it even TikTok anymore? Because the changes that they're going to make, it's like you might as well just start a new app. So I really don't see a point to banning TikTok. I think, or a point to what I think they should do is they should just ban it, get rid of it, start from scratch with a new app. You might as well at that point. Why buy it over? Just make an American TikTok. Well,
I go back to, I think all social media, either you've got to change the legislation around it, was it 503 or something like that, whatever that, 293, whatever that term is, and either you're a free speech platform and anything goes, or you can censor and demonetize and do all these things.
Right.
In which case there has to be rules and regs around that, because you can't just pick certain people to demonetize and not others if you're truly an information platform. If TikTok, if they're selling their data to enemies of the United States or however, if they're getting data, I have a problem with that. I don't think they should have that information.
Did you see? Right, the whole point was to ban it so that China couldn't get in like information and stuff. Did you see what the #1 app became when everyone heard about the TikTok ban?
I did. Read something?
Red Note, which is a completely owned Chinese company, right?
Yeah.
That is owned by the same company that does TikTok, ByteDance, right? It's the TikTok LLC corporation, and it says that it takes even more data than TikTok. Like it literally says it there, and people are recording it. And the best part is literally they like. I think literally yesterday, anything LGBTQ is just banned. Just no. Oh. China just like said nah. So it's funny how these people think that going to another app, they don't realize that we are the only somewhat inclusive country. Like, well, we are inclusive.
That's what they hate about us, and they're using it against us. So
good luck.
And that's what they've done to do.
I can't wait to watch the LGBTQ community try and take on China directly rather than the U.S. version of TikTok. Hey, we want Red Note changed. Yeah, come here. We'll have a sit down talk.
Right. That's like all these people who, were in the kafifas and they're gay. Well, good luck. Go over to the Middle East. You try parading around skateboards.
Gays for Palestine.
Gays for Palestine. Go ahead. I mean, I saw a professor wrote a whole article about how I don't mind having free speech in colleges, but they're so ignorant. Shame on these professors. They've taught them everything wrong about the facts over there. And it's not somebody who had an agenda saying, Israel's wonderful, Palestine. No, they're saying they're spouting out things that they're learning in these schools that's not even factual information.
Yeah.
So they look like fools, they sound like fools, and they keep getting given a platform. But back to what you're saying, that's not right either. You can't ban LGBTQ platforms in our country. They have a right to have platforms, just like conservatives, just like Christians. That's my point. I don't want to ban anything, TikTok, whatever. But if they're doing things that the person who's using it is unaware of, like taking data, you should have to notify them of that. There should be some sort of screen where you have to accept the fact that we're taking your data. If a person stupidly accepts that, doesn't look at the fine print, or the parents authorize it, fine. They're going to take your data, but they shouldn't have the right to take everybody's without them knowing it, or whatever, information they're calling.
I think that's why Zuckerberg's putting on a nice, cool guy facade right now, because he knows that Facebook's going to get combed through next. His new Threads or whatever it's called. They're going to start combing through data like crazy.
Allegedly, he has broken laws. He should be in prison for what he has done. He broke finance laws.
But Ma, he's a cool guy, and the government did it. The government told him to, Ma.
I'll tell you, nobody's buying it. He's trying to pay his way out. I think he gave Trump $1 million for his inauguration. Yeah. He's almost worse than your average, liberal nutjobs, because he's a hypocrite.
Yeah, everyone's coming around, though. You saw Snoop Dogg like a year ago posted, like, who would ever do Trump's inauguration? Not even a year ago. I think it was a month ago when he got inaugurated, 2 months, November. Snoop Dogg's like, who would ever... Something super racist towards black people, actually. He's like, well, I won't say it, but he's
Yeah.
like, who would do that? And now I think he's doing the inauguration for Trump. So
Yeah.
maybe
He
he had
probably
a
had a house that
maybe he
burned
had a
in
turn,
California.
yeah, maybe he had a turnaround or something. But
Yeah, he probably had a house that burned in California.
yeah. All right, last one. I don't really know how to segue to this one, but Toyota wants 2,000 people to live in its city for inventors.
Right.
I
So
love
if
this
you're
idea.
if you lost your house in California and you have some tech ideas,
And a couple
go to
patents.
Toyota Village.
This is a great idea, actually, because I wish that was real, but I could tell it's concept art.
It's coming, Chris. It's coming.
If I think because all these car companies are seeing what Tesla's doing and how he's offsetting a lot of Tesla's finances with Twitter and all of his other companies, I think they love this idea of just making these empires now that Elon's kind of made. But I also don't know if I want 2,000 of the smartest people being in. I'm going to assume it's not in America.
No, it's Japan. So it's located at the base of Mount Fuji,
Mount Fuji.
which
Oh, yeah.
apparently you
Literally
can
says it right
only
there.
see that a couple months every year. Isn't that interesting? I
Really?
didn't know that. Looking for 2,000 people. They want to develop everything from AI to space rockets to anything that has to do with mobility. And I'll get back to that. They're putting in, they feel it's going to cost about $10.13 billion to build.
Not
right?
bad, actually.
It's a startup city project, and it's going to be called, what was it called? Oh, you took my article away.
Oh,
It's at
sorry. I
the
want to
top.
see there. Market cap. It's
Can't think of the name of
called
it.
Woven City.
Yes, Toyota's
Pretty
Woven City.
sick. I won't lie. I want to see what their
They had
market cap.
committed to doing this a while ago at some CES meeting. So they're directing their outreach to startups and individuals with ambitious ideas who are looking for a place where they can come and they'll give them financial money to work on these ideas and develop them, probably eventually for Toyota to take them over and use them. They want to be known as a full mobility company that uses energy, mobility, people, and I forget what the last one was. Energy.
This is a little longer than I expected it to be.
Yeah,
article.
so they want to kind of. Could you go to where it says mobility company? I can't scroll down. Keep going down, 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 down. Right. So, but they basically said things that focus on mobility, people, energy, and there was a fourth thing that I can't. There it is. Hold on.
Energy, mobility, people, and energy.
Right. Well, they did say energy twice. Okay, so I'm not wrong. Energy, mobility, and people, and energy. So that's the crux of it. It's 175 acres that they've designated to this, and they're currently accepting applications to provide financial support to bring these ideas to life.
That's pretty awesome.
So, I mean, Toyota's making a commitment to expanding from car company to something more, which they committed to doing, I think, 5 years ago. And now they're at a point where they're ready to start doing it.
Well, I'm pretty sure Elon did that in Austin, right? He made Tesla City, which has a lot of employees there, but I don't know if he ever actually did it or not. I know it was a concept, but no, this is a great idea for Toyota to do if they really want to start branching out. But my question is, like, what kind of technology are we talking? I know you said stuff on paper, but I don't know.
Well, I think we're kind of at a cusp, maybe thanks to people like Elon Musk and where they've taken their companies. We're really getting to that point, given with AI coming in and whatnot, where we're getting to that Jetson flying cars. And how do we move people around more efficiently than on a road with smog?
Yeah.
You know, we do know that that is the future. There are some pluses to that, to not have to have more than one-dimensional transportation on the ground. Why are we not utilizing the skies more? Is it going to happen in my lifetime? Probably not. But probably in your lifetime, you may see people do more flying.
Well, I know
emit a lot of smoke and whatnot.
Yeah, I think that first thing they're gonna probably do before that is trains. Like, I think they're gonna make it so that you can get across the country in an hour.
Well, yeah.
High power trains.
Lamar does a good thing about that, about the people trying to escape Los Angeles and they couldn't because the train, they couldn't use the train. And he shows that the infrastructure that is still not completed, that we've plunked billions and billions of dollars into for a high-speed train connecting parts of California, that never happened and will not happen in our lifetime.
Yeah, and then I don't know whatever happened to Elon's Boring Company. I don't know I'm sure they're still working on stuff, but I don't know how that's coming along. So,
well, the issue is, and maybe Toyota can solve this with this city, for Japan at least, it's usually not about the intelligence and not even about the financing. It's about the political red tape to get things done.
Yeah.
I think Elon has been seeing that now more regularly and now being involved more in politics is seeing the red tape that we here in America deal with that other countries may not have. They have their fair share too. So remember, we built the Hoover Dam in a ridiculously short amount of time without any AI, without any tools. It was just the will to do it and no regulations. And when Dad and I visited that, the Hoover Dam is in Nevada, they point blank say it would take decades today to build this dam. Decades that these people did in the 1920s and 30s on their own I think in a year's time because of all the rules, the regulations, the unions, the requirements, and you can't build that here. What do you mean it's state of the art? Doesn't matter. We don't do state of the art here. You got to get approvals for that. So I think it's not about the creativity or the innovation. It's about the red tape and the bureaucracy that slows it down.
Yeah. Well, Mom, we just did like an hour and a half this time. This is a longer podcast. Good stuff tonight. Good stuff.
Yeah.
So
pretty full. We'll have a lot next week with the inauguration.
Yeah, and it's the couch one, the in-person one.
Yes.
So.
But given the inauguration, you may have to put a tuxedo on. I might have to put on a ball gown.
Yeah, but
it's almost a week later by then.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think of what else. I mean, there's not much else. We did everything.
Yeah, we covered it all.
Yeah, covered
Busy
it all.
week.
So
yeah, I keep the fires and whatnot.
So we
hopefully
got
fires won't still be burning by next week.
Yeah, hopefully. Ugh. So we got next week you're here. Then the week after that we might do a live podcast because we haven't done one since like September.
You mean when I'm down there, or
no,
the
following
when
week.
I come back?
Following week because we can't really do it from here easily. So yeah, that works. And then, that's pretty much it. So the only things I had to promote is obviously this comes out on Monday. Today, so Saturday, I posted the walkthrough for the new Call of Duty map, even though it's kind of old now because I was home. So, we're pretty much caught up. So social media, promo code, Streamlinks, Discord down below, and we will see Mom in person next weekend. Bye, guys.